Welcome to Career Success Radio. Fire up your career with Anne-Marie Cross and Keith Keller.
What are the jobs that are on offer, or what are the main jobs that you're now finding are really quite in demand? And also, I'd love to hear you talk about what you, as someone that's moved to Australia, what you notice about our culture that's really sort of dynamic as opposed to your heritage.
Actually, I'll just answer your first question to start with. I mean, the Australian government introduced a thing called a critical list. Now, anyone can just jump onto Google and just type in the critical skill list, and that will give you all the critically required professions. And that's varying from accountants to doctors to the various other blue-collar professions as well. And there is a substantiated list there. Now, there is a speculation that this list is going to be scrapped in the coming months, and they are going to revise this list and going to introduce this included into the job in demand list. And this varies in time to time. So, I mean, there's no one such thing to say, okay, we really want doctors and any doctor can just walk in. No, because any profession, the migration intake is determined by the number of people that they are allowing through a one particular visa class. So if you are coming on the skill migration, definitely you could have some sort of a skill to come in through that system, but that doesn't mean that, okay, out of the 10,000 skill migration positions that we have, 5,000 is for a particular profession. It's not like that. So it is that they want this many people with these qualifications, so they let them through the system. I think that will be a good segue to talk about my transition to Australia. Now, I was born in Sri Lanka, and I came here and I studied in Sinhalese till I reached my high school, and English was just a second language. And until I started working and well into my early 20s, we never spoke in English. We always did everything in Sinhalese. So you can imagine that when you're coming from another culture, language is a major barrier, because it's through the use of the language that because of your knowledge and your vocabulary and things, I mean, they expand over a period of time. And for someone who has, studied their entire life, and at home and everywhere else, you talk in a different language, and once you reach a certain level, it takes time for you to adjust into the new language, because they say as a kid, at the age of 3 to 8, they can pick up about 4 languages at a time. But once you're in your 20s, it's very hard. It takes time and a lot of effort. Now, as a new migrant, so then I came here to do my master's, and then to go back. And this is such a lovely country, and it gives a lot of opportunities. And then I completed my studies, and before I know it, now it's been about 10 years I've been living here with 2 kids. And I always loved the migration profession, and so I thought it's a great way for me to start providing this service to a lot of other migrants who are coming here for the first time, because it's a very daunting task. And moving your life from another country to a new country, it's not an easy thing. There are so many other factors that you have to take into account. And firstly, understanding the cultural pressures, and secondly, you are basically transferring your life, and you are leaving your loved ones behind, your assets and your community. And it's not an easy thing. But once you land here, you can see, you feel a sense of security from the time you land into this country, because the systems are so developed. And not only that, the multiculturalism that the country has to offer.
That's right, absolutely. And that's such a great point. You're saying there, Manjula, that there's other elements to consider as well. But having heard your success story of migrating and 10 years, you said you've been here, and obviously family, and now, with your career, it's amazing. Just for people who are considering, I know this is probably asking the question, how long's a piece of string? But on average, if someone were to apply and go through the process and then, right through to the yes, you can come, what's the general time span someone can consider or would be expected to undertake?
No, that depends on which visa path that they are looking at. Now, at the moment, the most popular one among the qualified skilled people is the general skill migration. If you are a general skill migrant applicant and your skill happen to be in the critical list at the moment, you get priority. But still, you are looking around 12 to 18 months turnaround. And if your skill is not on the priority and you are not being sponsored by a state government or employee or by another family member, then your priority level drops. So what happens is it's a first come, first served basis in that sense. If you don't fall into any of those priorities, and then you're looking around at the moment is 24 to 36 months. There is a website, like you can just go to Google and type for Department of DINIA, and they have they usually update their website with the waiting lines, and that depends on the number of applications we are getting. Now, there was a latest contribution to this was in the year 08-09. The intake was cut down by 20% due to the global the financial meltdown, because earlier our intake was about 160,000, and for this year they brought it down by about 20%. So there is a sort of a backlog from last year's quota that has come on to this year, and the number of new applicants. So what happens is your waiting period gets longer. So that's something very unfortunate at the moment, but I mean, in the best interest of Australia, I think that's what they have to do to make sure to stimulate the economy in such a way that everyone will be able to just continue their lives, and that's one reason. And okay, then look at the spouse visas. So supposing like you are coming here as a spouse of a Australian citizen or a permanent resident, you are looking around 3 to 6 months turnaround, and then there are other visa categories. It's one of the most popular categories, like working holiday visas, and there are a lot of countries where they can just apply through the web and get their visas straight away. The working holiday visas, those are temporary visa categories, and temporary visas are much easier, like the holiday visas and stuff. But you're looking around 3 to 4 days and turnaround in most cases. But if you look at 457 visas, that's employee-sponsored visas on 457, and there's a turnaround time of about 60 to 90 days. Now, there are no set guidelines to say this is how long it takes. I'm giving you my experience in seeing the turnaround times.
This is fantastic information, Manjula, because the process of moving to Australia is so complex, and you obviously have a fantastic knowledge of this system. So I wanted to thank you so much to the call today. We're running out of time. I just wanted to thank you so much for calling in and to let people know about you, the Australian Migration Consultants here in Melbourne. Thanks for calling in.
You've been listening to Career Success Radio. Fire up your career with Anne-Marie Cross and Keith Keller.